Namaskar. A very warm welcome to each one of you to this session of Tuesday gatherings. Let us collect ourselves and take a few moments to turn our awareness within. So just become aware of your breath. Becoming aware of the breath means not interfering with the breath at all, and let it happen in the most spontaneous and natural manner. So just pay attention to the breath as it comes in and as it goes out. When we pay attention to the breath, we become more aware of the process of breathing, how the breath enters the nostrils, goes down the throat. We become aware of the expansion in the rib cage, on the front, sides and back. We become aware of how the breath presses the diaphragm, and because of that pressure, there is a slight distension in the abdomen, and the navel moves in front ever so slightly, and then it falls back into place, and everything falls back into place as the breath moves out. So be with the breath for some time. Breath is a lovely instrument that can bring us in the present moment. And when we are in the present moment, we are free from the compulsions of past and the apprehensions of future. We are in the here and now. And anything we want to achieve in life happens in the here and now. The present moment holds immense possibilities. And it is the doorway through which the journey to the infinite can begin in the most effortless manner. So let us prepare ourselves for this journey by invoking the Guru principle and asking for grace. And we do this by surrendering to the principle of grace. In this surrender, we can let go of all acquired belief systems, understanding, and enter the pure space of knowing. So you can mentally pray to any principle of grace you believe in. As I recite some shlokas addressed to the Guru principle. Om Akhandamandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Gurur Brahma Gurur Vishnu Gurur Deva Maheshwara Gurureva Parabrahma Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Om Shri Sadguruve Namaha. We bow down to all the masters from all traditions, all belief systems, from all levels of existence, and seek their love and blessings and grace, so that each one of us is able to absorb whatever they offer us here in this satsang. Before I start, I would like to thank everybody who participated actively and whose participation led to what we did in our previous meeting. I must mention that I had shared the video link of this meeting with many friends. Quite a few of them have gone through that, and then they wrote back to me saying that they felt healed by the session. Now, what does healing hold, or it means? It is that a realization comes that life is a gift, and no matter what happens on the outside, the mind tends to classify it as good or bad because the mind is rooted in duality. But if we have the eyes to see, we can see how the divine plan is working in our lives and how we are being led to our higher possibilities. Spirituality is nothing but exploring one's higher possibilities. So one of the things that really helps us in the process is contemplation. If we look at the word contemplation, it is not ordinary thinking. It is something much deeper, and we can sort of understand something about it through some sharing of live experiences or some thoughts. So this morning, Shailaji shared some experience she had in Gurudev Siddhapit Ganeshpuri. So I will ask her to share that experience and then we can sort of build on that. So Shailaji, most welcome.
Thank you. While I was contemplating the topic of contemplation, I asked myself what it really meant for me. And amongst the many things that came up uh, and calmed me down in a state of pause, I suddenly this experience that I had in Gurudev Siddhapit Ganeshpuri sprang up. I was asked to give a talk in Hindi on Saumyata. So, and I was given certain points and I began to prepare. And when I gave the talk, there was a team of people who were listening to it, giving me the feedback. And one of the persons gave me a feedback that they had chosen me to give this talk because they felt that my personality was depicting Saumyata. It was, and but when they heard me give the talk, deliver the talk, that that minute, that thing, that aspect of Saumyata did not come through, and they asked me to contemplate a little more and prepare it again. So the next day, when that night when I was reading my talk again and again, I became very quiet and literally saw that that Saumyata, that Saumya Shaila was not beyond the words, behind the words. And that what I was sharing the other day was just an idea about Saumyata. The next day when I really put myself behind every word I said, it turned out to be a very beautiful talk. And I realized I was sharing myself and not just the idea. And this has what contemplation has been for me in many, many different aspects in daily life too. But for now, I think this is it. Thank you.
Sir, you have to unmute.
Thank you, Shailaji. And see, it is like this that this brings out the gist of what contemplation is. Normally, what happens is that anything that we conceive of, it is just a creation of the mind. So it's a thought. And thought it's coming through the filter of the mind, which is memory, intelligence and ego combined. So because of our own likes and dislikes or choices we have made, we have a certain bent of mind. And it is that bent of mind which decides how we think. But when we are giving an idea or saying something, if we are caught up in the mind, then we are speaking through the mind, we are interacting through the mind, and when you are speaking through the mind or interacting through the mind, you are only reaching another person to the level of the mind, not beyond. Why are we here in a satsang or in a gathering like this? The idea is to transform. So how do we transform? We have to interact. So we have this divine duty cast upon us that we share ourselves with other people. How are we going to do that? So if we are sharing the idea only at the level of the mind, what are we doing? We are just sharing our intelligence, our thought process. But contemplation is not sharing our thought process. Contemplation is going behind the thought process. So what is contemplation? Any question you have, you pick up the question, you put it in the forefront of the mind. Keep it moving around, keep it rolling, and keep thinking again and again and again, because mind is the only instrument we have. We do not have any other instrument to know things. So we start with the mind. So we keep rolling this particular idea or thought or particular thing around and keep looking at it again and again and again and see how it is affecting us. But if we keep doing this process for a long time, a moment will come when the mind will stop and some new insights will arise. And those insights are the whispers from beyond. They are not coming from your mind. They are whispers from the soul. The wisdom of the soul begins to speak to you. And that insight, that contemplation will change life. Now, the difficulty with most people is that most of us have not been told what is the process of contemplation. We are given handouts, we are given ideas, we receive ideas, some ideas appeal to us and we take them and we make them our belief systems. But belief system is not going to liberate. The belief system or the idea or whatever, the like or dislike, it has to be examined again and again and again. And when it becomes aligned to pure consciousness, when mind has dissolved, then the true understanding will arise. And that will be liberating. So this is how contemplation works. When things happen, we have a choice. We have a choice to live by our thought processes. And we also have a choice to not being caught up in those thought processes and just keep them examining again and again and again. So, one of the major complaints that I had in life, or I have come across most people who have it there in life, is that they have done so much and they have not been recognized. Does this sound true? I think most people can relate to it.
Yes, sir.
So we have done so much and we have not been acknowledged. It has not. Nobody has come back to thank us or do something for us, whatever. So I want to give you this contemplation. Just take 2 minutes and think something great that you did in your life. Quite a few of us have been, in service. We can just think of something great that we did in service. It can be as simple as, helping somebody in need, physically, financially, whatever. Doing something which you felt great. You did not get any appreciation. You did not get Bharat Ratna for it. But you felt you did something really wonderful. Just take it 2 minutes and think about it. And now think whether you got adequate reward for it or even acknowledgement for it. And has it left behind a kind of a sting or a sense of disappointment? Oh my God, I did so much, I did it so well, and yet nobody took notice. Nobody came back to thank me. And now, just take a moment to think that whatever you did, when you did it, were you motivated by a sense that you will get some reward? Were you motivated that this person will be under your debt for life and will acknowledge your contribution to his or her life? You helped people around, and did you remember were you motivated that the society will acknowledge you? The answer will be no. Then why did you do what you did? Because it felt good at that time. So when you are aligned to generosity, when you are aligned to doing good, you are simply following your own true nature. And your reward happens in the moment. You feel good when you do something good. But it is the mind that creates expectation later on. It says, my God, you did so well. But see, this ungrateful person does not remember you. So that is the trap. And that is the power of contemplation, that if you just think about this issue or process, if you have this thought that you have not been rewarded, meditate upon that thought. Turn it around in your mind's eye, day after day, month after month. And when the mind will stop, then the understanding is going to come. And why are you worried? You enjoyed doing what you did. Is that not reward in itself? So this is what happens when contemplation happens. So what Shalaji shared was that she spoke about, she was asked to speak on Samyata. She's a very gentle personality. So anybody, she's the living example of how she can handle people, ideas, issues. And yet when she was asked to speak, she wrote it down and she spoke. But what she was propagating was an idea. It was not her true self. And when she was given this task again, that okay, you go back and think about it and do this again, then the real Shaila came through. So what had changed? The whole focus on this thought and the power of contemplation changed everything. And this is what happens when we begin to look at our own life. I have no hesitation in sharing some of my, that weak spots. I lived alone in a particular place or a city, Kolhapur, for some time, and I had these two girls who were studying there. They used to come to me. I was their favorite uncle or whatever. And it was such a wonderful feeling to have them around. I never had a daughter. And I felt God has been so kind to me. I have these daughters who will feel free to come and stay with me whenever they want. They would come and share their results with me, and it would be a time for celebration, things like that. I had such a wonderful time. But that time passed. And the girls are well settled in their own way. But this thought somehow remained in the mind. Oh my God, they haven't called me back. They don't remember my birthday. They don't wish me a happy new year. They have forgotten. So there was this little sense of disappointment that was there. I can share another incident. When I was working, I found that many places I worked, people did not have houses. And I made it a mission to make sure that wherever I worked, I made arrangements, got lands purchased, got houses constructed. People should have better places to live in. And something had happened in Pune where somebody whom I had befriended, and he saw my passion for this work, he managed to get me a very good plot of land by doing something which was not exactly regular. And on that plot, more than 100 flats were going to come up, and I went there, and there was this function where this whole thing the project was to be started. And there was this lurking desire that as it begins, is there somebody going to mention that this plot was, we have this plot thanks to BP God? Nobody remembered. But this thought remained. So when I contemplated these two small things that I shared from my life, so when the mind stops, then the understanding came. I did what I did because I enjoyed it so much. It was such a great feeling that, oh, I have got a plot of land where 100 flats are going to be constructed. So many officers and staff members will come and live here. Their children will play outside. They will grow. This was a great feeling. So that was a reward in itself. But looking for further recognition was a product of the mind, the ego. Having those girls around and taking care of them and receiving their love and affection while they were there, that was a reward in itself. But any desire for recognition later on was a product of the mind and the ego. So as this understanding came through, it disappeared. So one great thing about spirituality is that whatever understanding or thought process you have, once you put it under the scanner, under the laser beam of awareness, then the fluff will disappear. And the real thing will remain. And the real thing is only joy. So that is how one can really find wisdom. But this is the process of contemplation. One can remain in that sense that, oh my God, I have not been acknowledged. Whole life will pass. And one will be born again, hankering for that recognition. But once the matter is resolved within one's own consciousness, then one is free. And the understanding has come for life. So whenever we do what we do, okay, it is the right thing to do in this moment. That's it. Forget about it. So whatever, I mean, how many people can, really resonate with what I am sharing? It is so easy. Yes, I'll just put the gallery mode. A few people there. It is so easy to see what is happening here. But once we know this, the life is going to change. There are so many people who are not able to receive love. There's somebody whom I know. This person is very conscious. He is a beautiful human being, a great specimen of good human being. And wherever he goes out, whenever he goes out, he is always attracting people, because when you are vibrating high, you are in that state, you are loved. People cannot stop, showing their affection for you. But the thought comes, oh my God, how can I accept all this? Because one has already had some experiences where one has been betrayed, or one's, love and affection has not been reciprocated in the manner one wants. But this one bad experience scars a person for life. And what happens? He or she becomes unable to accept love. Why? Because of the fear that, oh my God, what happens if I get betrayed again? So that is where contemplation is needed. If we really contemplate and we look at a relationship, so when the relationship was there, how enjoyable it was, how beautiful it seemed, how great one felt. So instead of looking at or living in those moments, one can choose to live in that moment of betrayal and the sadness that was caused by that. And what happens that one is become constricted. One is not able to receive love. If you cannot receive love, you cannot give love. It is as simple as that. And for inability to receive love or give love is that one is not expanding. Only those people can receive love and give love if they are in a state of expanded awareness. So this is something which is a lesson for everybody. So that is where contemplation works. Spirituality is not so much about doing a particular practice, or practices are very important because at some point of time they are working to silence our minds. But ultimately, growth will happen when the awareness development will be there. And contemplation is a great way to develop in terms of awareness. So it's very simple. Anything which is bothering you, you just take it and put it on a kind of a globe. Keep the globe, let the globe revolve, and keep watching it from different angles. A time will come when the mind will stop and the real issue will emerge. And quite often it will require you to have a change or a shift in your own awareness. And that will be life transforming. So that is something it came up for me, and I just wanted to share this because there is something that happened. We have all gone through different lifetimes. We have lived, we have followed different religious paths, we have lived in different traditions, and according to that, those impressions are there. So suppose if I have lived in a particular religious tradition and somebody abuses that tradition, I am bound to feel bad because in the heart of my heart I know that I have been there, I have experienced this. It is not so bad. But what has happened? The biggest atrocities in the world have been committed in the name of religion. So there are other souls that have suffered because of the expansionist designs created by religion. So those souls that have suffered or they have been harmed by some religion, they are bound to be born here with a kind of animosity towards that religion. So it is like this that we can just go by our own experiences and decide what is right and wrong. And it was happening to me in a certain way because I have been as kind of a spiritual traveler. I have been through different religious traditions. And yet there was a breakthrough moment when this occurred to me that, look, this is the drama of existence. Things will happen the way they are happening. All that you need to have is, and everybody is right in their own way because they are going through what they have experienced through their life. Everybody is going through what they have, going by what they have experienced in life. So let them be. But can you have a picture where you see everybody working according to their own sanskars, their own impressions? It is fine for them. And you should not judge anyone whatsoever. So it was it's a great breakthrough moment for me. I don't know whether I can sort of share myself clearly, but it was a great breakthrough of moment for me because what happened, I became at peace. I may do something, I may not do something, that is my choice. But to be at peace is most important, and I cannot say that I am always right. People are going to follow different paths, they will experiment, everybody is experimenting, and from their experiments they will learn. But I have no right to judge. And once this understanding came, that great peace dawned. So another thing about contemplation is that when you contemplate and some breakthrough happens, then you begin to find peace in your heart. And that peace is very important, because when we are at peace, then we can deal with things in a very proper fashion. The ego can be kept aside and one can be in flow. So this is why I thought I will just bring this up and how it works. There are certain practices we can do, and one of the practices which really worked for me for some time was this auto writing. Why we are the way we are, whether we are good or bad, as long as we are putting ourselves in certain pockets or compartments, because of our subconscious mind. The conscious mind, we know, is just a small part which is visible and we can access consciously. But there is the subconscious mind, which is a very huge part of us, which is not visible to us. It is like an iceberg. So what you see above the surface of the sea is a small part, then a huge portion lies underneath the surface and it is not visible. That is why when the ships collide, they can, the icebergs are very big, then ships can be broken into pieces. There can be disasters. So such is the power of what lies beneath the surface. And this same thing applies to the subconscious mind. So we must do some practice to really empty ourselves out. And for that, I discovered a very good technique, which is auto writing. So what is auto writing? If for some days, for some times, some weeks, you just make it a habit that you keep a pen, paper ready by your somewhere readily accessible. When you get up in the morning, go and just wash your face, do something, and sit down. And whatever comes to mind, start writing. Don't think. Don't put your pen down. Don't try to rewrite a word where there is a spelling mistake. Or if a sentence is grammatically incorrect, don't try to complete that sentence. If a sentence remains incomplete, leave it. Keep writing. 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever time. When the writing stops, then you put the pen down and read it. So what has happened? By not thinking and once starting to write, we are going beyond the conscious mind, we are going into the subconscious mind. Now the subconscious mind is where all those things that bind us, they are there. The subconscious mind is also the area where a lot of experiences we have had in past lives, those are stored there. There is great wisdom stored there in the subconscious mind, but we cannot access that wisdom because we are not aware of it. There may be some great qualities, some great virtues, some great skills lying there, but we are not aware of those skills. So when we do this auto writing, those skills, that wisdom, that begins to come up, and some of our handicaps can also come up. The ideas of those handicaps. If you give yourself a thought in the night that I want to write about what is holding me back in life, what are the areas I want to change, and then in the morning you just get up and start writing, those areas will begin to come, because there is tremendous wisdom there. All the information, the blueprint of life is there. Are you ready to take that blueprint and use it? That is the question. So once we do this, what happens is that there is a kind of a cleaning, purging process. Many handicaps that we have in life, they begin to fall away. and many new qualities begin to arise. So I have been asking many people to do this because I did this about 3.5 years ago, and it sort of brought about a tremendous change in me. For the first time I discovered what is flow, because all the time you are using the conscious mind, you are living in this small area of awareness. But when I did auto writing myself, I found that there's sometimes great wisdom, great thoughts, or great criticism also, my own assessment of my own failings, that began to come up, and it was a kind of purging process that helped me grow. And I am very pleased to share someone with you all. Here is Reet Gabadia. I have known her for a very short time. I had asked her to do auto writing, and she has been doing it. And I would like to her to share her experience with everybody. So please listen to Reet. We welcome her. No, Reet, you have to unmute yourself.
Sorry. Yeah. Thank you, sir. And hello, everyone. I'm glad I've got this opportunity to share my feelings and emotions with you. I was introduced to sir through someone, and sir was kind enough to join me during that time. The free sound healing sessions were going out, and I joined those. And after that, I could feel some healing or some changes in me, which encouraged me to join the intensive healing sessions. In going through those sessions, one, as sir insists on encourages on giving your sharings, once I just felt like sharing with sir that, sir, I am feeling positive changes also, but there is some restlessness, some anxiety within me which is not letting me sleep. I have to twist and turn before sleeping. And sir was kind enough to share a Zoom meeting with me, and we had a good 1 hour Zoom meeting in which sir could know more about me. And I don't know what sir sends in that meeting, and he just suggested me to do a auto writing. And as sir suggested, and sir's word is a bolte na patthar pe lakeer for me. And I said, okay, sir suggested me, I'll do it. The day when next day I had to write the first date, I was wondering, thinking one night before, what will I write? How will I write? So sir just suggested me, start who is Reet. And I was very keen next day morning of writing. And as I woke up, I started writing. I was wondering, will I be able to write for 20 minutes? But it went on and on. I started writing. All the gratitude, all the divine grace was pouring out. And I was very excited to share it with sir. Sir was very, very happy to know about it. And I kept doing this for a week. And it's almost 15, 20 days I'm doing this. And I can see miraculous changes in me. I can just sleep within minutes. There are so many positive changes in me, physically, mentally, and emotionally. I'm calm. I'm compassionate. The things which bothered me don't bother me at all. Everything goes so naturally. And I'm so glad to sir for sharing this with me. And I'm very thankful to sir from bottom of my heart. And I'm very grateful to everyone to listen to my sharing. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. And believe me, I can see the transformation in me. Believe me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Reet. And see, it is like this that she had, when we are having the Zoom session, this thought came to me because she said, then the sound healing is working all right. I can see some changes, but I have problems with my sleep. And somehow I could intuitively sense that there is something which is in the subconscious mind. It needs to be cleared. And I just suggested to her, I have suggested this practice to many people. Very few people have, accepted it or tried it over. I asked people to do it for a 21-day period without stop. But Reet took it up, and then the purging began. See, normally what happens is, as I could see, that she was basically having, it is true for many of us, having a poor opinion of oneself. It's always portray yourself as a victim. I am so helpless. But what happens when the churning starts, when whatever is holding us back, begins to go up, and we start, like the first day she shared that part of that with me. It was all about grace. It was all about how wonderful she is. So why, when this kind of thing comes up, then your opinion, which is limiting you, it disappears. And then that limitation disappears, then you start walking into your own. You are coming into your own. When you come into your own, you expand. The life changes. So this is why I felt that it was something good. It will be nice for her to share it with the group. So any feedback on this so far from anyone? No feedback? No feedback is good feedback.
I would like to say something.
Please go ahead. Who wants to say?
Sonika,
Sonika, just a minute. Yes, Sonika, go ahead.
when you gave the homework and I wrote in the pointers and you gave me the feedback, it will be great if you can write little paragraph. So I wrote that, and as my handwriting is bad, I said I can type it and send it to you. You said you do it. That means the same homework when I was doing it for the third time. First I wrote the pointers, second I wrote on a paper. Third time when I was typing, I actually cried while typing. And then I did not look at the paper which I wrote. I was just typing, and I was crying. And then I realized I was sitting in my office and I'm crying and I'm typing. Then I wiped off my tears and I realized that, there's a reason why you told me to do the homework again. But when you told me that time, I did not understand why. Second time also, I did not understand. But when the tears rolled out of my cheeks, I realized, oh, maybe something from deep inside needs to come out. That's why you were telling me to rewrite it again. So maybe the main purpose of the homework, why you gave the homework, was served third time when I did the homework.
You see, it is like this, You hit the nail on the head. You see, when I said that you write about 5 best experiences of life and 5 worst experiences, what you sent me was bullet points. Bullet point means no contemplation. So that is why I said you have to write again. Now, why writing is so important? Thinking is important, but writing is more important because in writing you can, you see your reflection of your own personality. There are people who write very well, and there are other people who cannot write. But why they cannot write? Simply because the mind is jumbled. So when we start writing, we always have the facility to go back to what we have written. So writing is about examining your own mind, putting your own mind under a microscope and see how it functions. So when we write about something, some aspect of life, and we write about it again and again, 2 times, 3 times, then that becomes a process of contemplation. Actually, what you are doing is, you have an issue, you have thought about it, but you have thought about it from the one angle. Now suddenly when you start writing about it, I said, write how you felt. That was my word. I told everybody, but very few people did that exercise. So when you go into your own feeling, you start traveling from the periphery, from the mind to the heart. And heart is where the real transformation is. So when we go in the heart, we can see things more clearly. We can let go of the biases of the mind. So that is how when you wrote it and shared it with me, you said you cried because the heart was moved. It was a purifying experience. So writing is purification. And it is available to everybody. Everybody writes. But how we write? And are we really prepared to do this? Luckily, I was in a government job where our job was mainly around writing. And I can share this little secret. I was a science student, and I came from an area in eastern UP where English was not really in vogue. I was good at Hindi, and when the science teachers told us that why bother about language, as long as you can convey what you are saying, that is good enough. So that was it. But in my office, we used to write letters. There are so much of correspondence happening all the time. And I worked under a boss who had worked with the ministry in the section where the law is framed. So I would write something, some correspondence. I will prepare a draft. And in those days, we did not have computers. Everything was written in hand. A draft had to be submitted to the boss and approved by the boss. So there was this process where I could see how ill organized and clumsy I was. And when my draft was cleared by my boss or bosses, there were several bosses who were really great. It came back to me, there was a kind of a polish. It was shining. So this desire came that why can I not write like them? Can I not learn from them? Because every day I was being shown the mirror that see how clumsy and ill organized you are. And it was a process. It took time. But then it became that just writing a small letter or correspondence, something, an acknowledgement slip or anything, it is not something ordinary. It is a test of your mind. How clear the mind is. So if we write again and again, if we make a habit of writing, actually we are polishing the mind. So anything which is polished, it is going to shine. It will be noticeable. Of course, there is the other thing that polishing the mind does not exactly mean becoming more intelligent. There are many intelligent people, but they are bound. In spiritual life, when we say about polishing the mind, it is a mind which is clear and which is operating or which is connected to the heart. So then it becomes transforming. Otherwise, intelligence can be devastating. People are very intelligent, they are discovering nuclear bombs. So how does it help humanity? A war does not really help. So it is like this, that when we are very intelligent, we can find out ways to really destroy others and ourselves too. But it is about clarifying or creating clarity that is going to connect us to our own self. So when you did that, Sonika, that work, small homework, it really connected you to this heart. And it shows. When you are connected to the heart, it begins to show. That is why when I just immediately sort of wrote back to you that it's fine, that it is, you got it. I think these were my words, you got it. So I did not know that you had cried while writing that. But I could sense it was written feelingly, and I could see that the heart is here. So it can be, a great way to everybody, whosoever is listening or wants to do that. But if we just start writing, this will be a fast track to spiritual evolution. And since we are on this subject and there was nothing planned, I would like to share with you something which has been shared with me by a lady. She did not do the homework. She was in London. She returned to Mumbai just a day or two ago, and she wrote something about this homework from the earlier session. And you just see what she has written. It is very personal, so I will not take her name. Sorry for the delay in sending the homework. Here is my humble statement. The best things that come to my mind are mainly the good people he gifted me. First and foremost are my parents, the IQ, the rational thinking, love for music, to hold values supreme are some of the good things I inherited from them. Next was my music teacher. He had 3 daughters and a son. He always loved me as his 4th daughter. He molded my voice, which is again a God gift. When I did not know anything about voice culture, my music has pleased many and earned me love and respect, which I owe to him. Then came a person in my life whom I loved, married. He was a gem of a person. When we got married, I was 21 and he was 23. I had no idea of my good fortune. As the years passed by, we grew together and I realized his good qualities slowly. Along with high IQ, he had equally high EQ, emotional quotient. He proved to be a loving and understanding husband, a very good father, a helpful son-in-law. In short, Sarvaguna Sampanna. I have never met his equal in my life. We had a very short married life, 15 plus years. But his love gave me strength to sustain in all odds of life. My sons were 13 and 8 at that time. Today, elder son is an IT professional having his own business, and the other one is a CA with an MBA from London Business School, working as a director level in a multinational bank. And came my Sadguru, Swami Sarupanand. When I needed the most, after accidental death of my husband, I was shattered. I could not show my grief openly in front of my sons because they should not feel orphaned. But my heart kept weeping inside me. Although my parents gave me full moral support, I needed someone to fall upon from within, and he appeared before me one night, 4 a.m. actually, and put his hand on my head, assured me, gave me mantra, and thereafter I never felt lonely in life. He always held me. He just carried me in every difficult situation. I am leading a life of contentment only because of His grace. I don't have any vasanas anymore. I leave everything to Him and be in the bliss of my Sadguru. At the time of difficulty, He sent some help that I need. As in the trying times of pandemic, He introduced me to Tuesday gathering and kept the flame kindled. So these are the good things. As for bad things, the only bad thing was I lost my husband at an early age, which was a big blow. Life till then was smooth and happy, and suddenly everything changed. But with Sadhguru's grace, I could face the aftermath. And whatever problematic situations came, he saw me through. And then she says, I'm sorry for the delay as I could not write in time. I hope you pardon me for that. But what a beautiful experience of life.
Beautiful.
And a life full of grace and acknowledgement of grace. So when we have that acknowledgement, grace is always there in everybody's life. When we have that acknowledgement within us or the recognition of grace, then we grow. So I just felt, I took her permission to share because it was a very personal share. पांडे जी, एक आपने अपने को अनम्यूट किया था पहले. Did you want to say something?
Sir, I just wanted to mention something about auto writing. Once you had given me that homework to me, especially because I somehow means I'm sorry that I could not continue for 21 days. But the beginning itself was really transforming. So I just wanted to share that experience for a day. What happened, sir? I was not able to think what I should write about. So you just told me that once you did not have any idea, so you thought that I will write about what happened on a rainy day. So somehow that continued with my unconscious mind. But I was decided that I will not write on a rainy day. So I told my wife before sleeping, I said that early in the morning, you just tell me any 2 words and I will start writing immediately without doing anything. And it so happened that she did not wake up at all. So she continued, and I was there and I was waiting for with a pen and paper that what should I write. Then I said, okay, I'll write on what happened on very rainy day. And then I started writing without further thinking. And I wrote something. And just that I went here and there, I saw some child and I gave some relief to her. All this some kind of charity or some kind of compassionate work. After about 1.5 hours, when my wife wake up, I said that you forgot to tell me something. Then she said, yes, I was thinking that you should write something that out of compassion I did this. Now, this coincidence I am not able to explain. So that I just wanted to share. Was there some kind of grace from here that both the things coincided, and I just wrote down that. So I just wanted to have a share that maybe this was some grace was working. So, and thereafter I continued for 2-3 days, but I could not continue for 21 days. But yes, it was uplifting experience.
It's grace. But this is how existence works.
Yeah, I did not discuss and she did not tell me, but I had written what she subsequently told me. So that was it.
Maybe now you can start again.
Yeah, yes.
It works. It works. Anybody who does that, it works, and it works in amazing ways.
It was amazing.
It works in amazing ways because whatever is there in the subconscious mind, that decides what writing will happen. When you just start writing, don't think about it. So it is, and there is great wisdom stored there in the subconscious mind.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing. But you had shared what you had written on the first day. You had sent me a copy.
Yes, I had sent, sir. Yes,
I know what you wrote.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Pandit. Thank you so much.
Can I share something?
Umaji, yes, sure.
So you had asked us to share about the 5 not so pleasant things. But what I found that what could have been considered as not so pleasant were the most gracious moments in my life. And those were the ones that really, handled me with so much of love, care, compassion, that the rewards, the recognitions that I get today, sometimes I feel, am I worthy of it? Did I do anything? Why am I getting all this? In fact, yesterday I had gone for a wedding and there were a few people who came and who said, we came for this wedding because we heard you're coming for it.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I said, my God, Am I really worthy of it? That's what you asked us to contemplate, and that's what I have been thinking of the last 2 weeks. That the grace has been so much that there are no words to pen down for it. I'm really, really blessed. Thank you so much.
No, it's wonderful. This is so wonderful and so great of you to share this, because some people may even be shy of sharing what you just shared. And this is how grace works, when you become an instrument of grace or helping other people. So there is so much of expansion that in sort of very unseen ways you can connect with people and change their lives, and they look forward to meeting you. It is wonderful. It's nothing. I mean, it is something very natural. And of course, there is always this sense of awe and wonder, that because we look at ourselves and we think in limited terms of the body or whatever we are doing, and it seems very ordinary. There's nothing great about it, just following one's bent of mind or one's passion. But this is how it works. And when the Guru has decided that you
Yes.
are going to be an instrument of changing other people's lives, then this is what is going to happen. So it's,
Sir, it happens with both of you, both the people present in the windows here. Sir, it's Hema here.
exactly put you.
So it happens with both of you, both the people in the windows here. With Sir also, it's like that only. Sir आ रहे हैं तो चलो, कैसे भी करके चलो. You make time for that. I think, sir, the thing here is the love that comes out from both of you. The magnet, the love that comes out, it just pulls us. It just pulls us.
No, for me it is just one thing, something that just happened. When I met my Guru, and then the spiritual journey started, I began to see how limited I was, and how I was full of my own concepts. And one by one, the Guru broke every concept. So what really stood out for me was that when I went to meet Guru Mai, she must have seen everything that was negative about me. And this is how I put it, that she did not say कि ये कचरे का डब्बा किधर से आ गया, हटाओ इसको, भगाओ. She made me sit. But this is what the Guru does. Because the Guru does not see who you are in this moment. The Guru sees what is the possibility. So because the Guru saw some possibility, she said, हाँ अच्छा बैठने दो इसको. So it is like this, that we all have somehow gone through that. So now when you receive this kind of unconditional love, what else can you do?
Not so do, what else you can give?
No, giving love, it becomes natural. What else?
Yes.
So
what is inside comes out naturally.
Never give it back to others. So that is what happens. So it becomes a natural phenomenon.
Yeah.
And of course, yes, that sometimes it may happen that one may feel कि इधर कैसे हमको पूछ रहे हैं, क्या खास बात है? कोई खास बात नहीं है. तो खास बात तो वो गुरु है जो उसने हमको कुछ दिया है, अंदर से कुछ चाबी घुमा दिया है. That's it. It's as simple as that. And everybody has that possibility. And the gurus are working. So it is.
So we all are work in progress.
We are work in progress.
Yes, work in progress. Right.
We are all work in progress.
Unfinished products.
Unfinished products. We all have some stages. Some are on the finished stage, some are in between, some have just started, but we all will reach.
And the whole thing is that, in helping each other, we grow.
Yes, sir.
It is only when, we become sort of teachers or helpers, we grow. So that is sharing that expansion or whatever understanding one has got.
Sir, what you said, na, sharing itself is a learning.
It is a learning.
Always a learning.
It can sometimes be a challenge.
Yes, ask me.
It is a challenge because when how this teaching thing started, I was meditating, I was very happy. But in the office, we had Mrs. Shashi Kapila, she is part of this gathering. So one day she told me, अरे क्या तुम वो आश्रम के कोर्स में तुम जाकर लोगों को मेडिटेशन सिखाते हो, यहाँ सिखाओ, ऑफिस में सिखाओ. Now there was a big question mark. I said, my God, you see, my guru has asked me to teach in a meditation program in the ashram, but it is her intention that is helping me teach. I don't know anything. And how can I teach anyone else? So this whole thought was pulling me down. Then I thought that maybe I will go in darshan to Guru Mai and ask her, Guru Mai, there is these people in office, they want that I should start a meditation group. Should I teach there? And then the little self said, oh my God, she is going to laugh about it. Because she'll say, oh, look at this idiot. He doesn't know a thing and he is going out to teach everybody else. I did not ask. I kept debating it for 2 months. Not that I did not go up to her for darshan, but I could not have the courage to ask her permission. Then what happened was that on a particular New Year Eve, there was some program, and when we were going out of the hall, everyone was given a cookie as prasad. I also got a cookie and I opened it, and the message in that cookie was that share what you have with other people. So I took it as the divine command or assent, and we started with some 8-10 persons in the office meeting half an hour in the lunch time to meditate. And then I had to share something or the other. They were all novices. It was such a challenge to speak for 5 minutes. In that session, I had to really read something, prepare something. And this was a time when I did not know anything about meditation or about yoga. I read the Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. I take some sutra, and just give a 5-minute kind of explanation on that, or something which used to strike me as appropriate. I would share with people, but it was a challenge. And when after a year and a half, when I was transferred from that section, everybody, thanked me profusely, and they shared how their lives had changed. But I realized in that moment that I had to thank them more, because I was the one who had learned the most. And because they came together in a gathering and they were so keen to learn, I had to learn something to be able to impart that teaching to them. And I am still, very, very grateful to that group, because they were the one, they provided that kind of platform from where you just take off, you rise. So it is whosoever comes here or shares with people, we have to really be thankful to those who are participating or who take the opportunity to come and share their experiences, because we are all growing together. Growth is not anybody's prerogative, and it cannot happen in isolation, because when you somehow grow, you cannot help yourself, make it your own personal growth. You have to share it with others, and only then that learning, that is the platform where you can really bring the learnings into practical use. And sometimes when people are explaining concepts, their own concepts become clearer. So this is how it works. And then we have been fortunate to have the gurus, to have seen the gurus, how selflessly they are giving themselves to the whole world. So they are not holding themselves back. So why should we hold ourselves back? That's the question. So thank you so much, Umaji. This is wonderful. And we are so, honored to have you here as part of our group. So that it's time for some homework, because now you know what is contemplation. And just take this point to contemplate a few things. You can do something right away. Just close your eyes and think about yourself. Often we take our skills for granted. We don't appreciate them. So just think of what skills you have. Those skills can be writing, reading, understanding concepts, contemplating, going behind the mundane or the run-of-the-mill thought to figure out where it is coming from and what is the message in it. Many of us in our own families, we are counselors or friends. People look up to us for advice. So counseling. Sometimes when we talk to people, they feel healed, their issues dissolve. So that's part of the healing job one is doing. Some of us may be good cooks. What a noble thing it is to be able to prepare a good meal and to offer it to others, to the family. Some may be, good at feeding others. Some may have this skill of sharing time with others, sharing concern for others. Some can serve through their resources or contacts. I know someone, a relative, who worked in a hospital for some time, and he developed such fantastic contacts that he has helped so many people during COVID and otherwise. So just look at your own life. There are certain inherent qualities, certain skills that you are born with. Make a mental note of them. And when you have time in the coming week, expand on them. See how you have used these skills, or how these skills have enriched you from within. They have expanded your life. And they have been instruments of helping others. And this has brought such wonderful things to you. You have been of such service to people, to your environment. If you love gardening, you talk to your plants, you see how they respond. When you clean your house, you see how the clean house is buzzing with energy and you can find yourself in tune with it. I love cleaning utensils, and quite often I have had this feeling that utensils also communicate. So become aware of all the skills you have and see your life as an endless communication. You are in communication with yourself and you are in communication with your environment and others. See how it feels. Yeah, when you begin to appreciate your skills, the feelings that life has not been fair, these take a back seat. Now take your contemplation a little forward and think of yourself as the instrument of the divine or a divine spark, and through your skills you are spreading the energy of God. It is going to touch, it has touched so many lives and it is going to touch so many lives in future. There may be somebody who will say, oh my God, just you see, I can only love, I have loved people. And think, what happens when you have been in love? So just look at your life. We don't give ourselves the time to contemplate what is good in us, because most of the time the feedback we receive from the world is about what we do not have or what is lacking. So maybe it's a good practice to see what we can appreciate about ourselves. And as you sit in contemplation, listen to this frequency of DNA healing. Now listen to this frequency of abundance and let your appreciation for your own inner qualities and virtues grow. Once you recognize your inner virtues, you cannot look at yourself as limited or handicapped in any manner. In the Yoga Vasishtha, there is a dialogue between Ram and his Guru. And Lord Ram asks Guru Vasishtha as to what are the qualities that a human being should have. And he himself lists out many, many qualities. And Guru Vasishtha tells him something very profound. He says, true, there are so many qualities to be had, and the list is very long. But you do not worry about it. You build on and nurture those qualities that you have. And as you grow in them, those qualities will be the magnet that will attract all other necessary qualities to you. So when we become aware of our inner worth and build on that, we can really grow in life. And whatever other virtues we need, or whatever other skills and abilities we need, existence will bring them to us. With this awareness or understanding, rest for some time in the frequency of unconditional love. As Master Shah says, love melts all blockages. So this is what is going to melt all blockages and pave the path or open the path for a glorious journey ahead. And now just be with this frequency of Om. Keep your awareness running from the base of the spine to the crown of the head. Start becoming aware of your breath. Take a few deep breaths. And become fully aware of your body. With closed eyes, become aware of the contact between your sit bones and the chair, your feet and the floor, Become aware of where your hands are resting. And when you are ready, you can gently open your eyes, bringing yourself in the here and now. If you want, you can just rub your palms against each other, caress your face. You can tap your shoulders, do whatever you like to bring yourself fully in the present. So, some feedback time. How did you feel with this contemplation? Anybody wants to share something? You can unmute yourself.
So can I share?
Nadia,
Yes.
just a moment, Nadia. Yes, Nadia.
Thank you, sir. I did not know मैं तो कहाँ चली गई थी when you started meditation. It was so peaceful, and very nice. I went somewhere and
Okay.
and I came back feeling very good actually. Recharged. I guess I got a lot of.
When we focus on our positives, the positive energies, and then that is a big explosion. We can get recharged. That's good.
A lot of feeling very good. When you said that come back from meditation, I thought I will now go and sleep maybe at least 15 minutes before starting any work in the house. But now, but as I'm talking, I'm feeling I'm really actually energized. I can now do a lot of work because now I'm very. It was very nice experience and very good opportunity to contemplate. I wanted to thank you, sir, for last week's assignment also, because it took really. I had to put myself, sit down and write, and then think, and it really brought a shift in me as well when I wrote what I wrote, and it was a big transformation for me, even writing that. And then when I wrote, all the fears were just gone. So I just first I sent to you, and then I shared in the group as well. So I wanted to thank you, and of course Tuesday gathering.
Your sharing was one of the things we used for the.
I saw, I could see the recording yesterday, and I'm very grateful. And I got your message also, sir, about relationship. Thank you so much. Thank you. He's here. See. He was also quiet all the time. Surprising.
Okay, now it's time to go. Leela ji, please.
So,
You wanted to say something, Leela?
today's session was very practical and very useful. I got some very clear practical guidance.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful.
Especially,
actually, spirituality is practical. It is not much about theory. It is about.
Usually, when think of contemplate something very vague, and you keep, mind wandering here and there. Just keep your eyes closed. But today, what you said made a lot of change.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for sharing. Actually, this is something I also did not know what is contemplation.
I have to focus on a point and then dwell on it. That brings a sort of quietness to the mind. And I'm going to try it every day.
Very good.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. We are so happy to have you here with us.
So it was an amazing session. This is Reet here, sir.
Read, yes. Go ahead.
Thank you so much, sir. It was really an amazing session, and I'm so confident after talking. I mean, I'm glad I could share. Nahi to I always had a thing ki will I be able to talk, but I'm feeling so confident. Thank you, sir.
We all have been in the same boat.
Thank you, sir. The fear is gone. Thank you so much.
Help each other. That's all.
And it was lovely to hear all the experiences. It was very nice session, very one-to-one session. Thank you.
So we call it a day. And one thing I would like to tell everybody, that you just meditated with this small meditation on just contemplating our skills or virtues or good qualities, whatever you may call it. So just think about it and do some writing work. See how it has been helpful to you in your life. And once you have a clear understanding of how important it is for you, then you will have a totally different perception about yourself. So this is something which people can try. And this brings us to a close of this session. Emma, you want to say something or give any announcements? No? No? Okay. So we'll just end it with a Shanti part. And I'm so happy that people have shared so willingly. So let us end with a prayer for universal peace and brotherhood. Om Sarvesham Swastirbhavatu Sarvesham Shantirbhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhino Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti